solve quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is x equal negative b plus minus root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And keep in mind, your a cannot be equal to 0. Another thing you might need to know is b squared minus 4ac. These two terms under the radical, we call this as a determinant. So when you have b squared minus 4ac is bigger than 0, that indicates you will have the two real solutions. When your b squared minus 4ac equals 0, exactly equals 0, that means you have one real solution, which means you have double root. Your x equals 4, x equals 4. When your b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, that means you will have no real solution. No real. But you will have two imaginary solutions. Two imaginary solutions or two non-real solutions. Two non-real. Okay. So let's take a look at the example to learn how to solve a quadratic equation by using the quadratic formula. So when you have the equation like this, again, generally we like to see whether we can use the factor form to solve it. And this equation, because the leading coefficient is not 1, so some people might feel using the quadratic formula is the easier way to solve it. So before you jump into the quadratic formula, you need to recognize the A, B, C. A is a number from your leading coefficient term, which is the x squared term. So A is 2. B is a positive A. C is the negative 7. A, you recognize the leading coefficient term of the equation. So now, plug into the formula, we will have the 2a on the bottom. So 2 multiplied with 2. On the numerator, you have the negative b, so we have the negative a. Plus minus b squared, b is a. So a squared minus 4 multiply a multiply with c. And then from here, you need to work on, you can use a calculator to type out here. So a squared is 64 minus 4 multiplied with another minus number, negative number, which is tend to a positive. Times these 3, you'll get a 56. And you have plus minus here. So sum these two, you'll have the 120. Square root 120 plus minus sign here. You have the negative a stay in the front. Your bottom part has 4. Now, the most of people has the difficulty to clean up the root 120. So square root, okay. So the square root 120, we are looking for how to split this number into the two terms, and one term has the largest perfect square term. So 120, the only number I can see here so far would be, okay, I'm going to start with 4. So split a 120 divided by 4, I will get a 4 multiplied by 30. Now, number 30, I can have 3 by 10, right? 2 by 15, 2 by 15, 6 by 5. So there is no largest, there's no another perfect square number here. So the only perfect square number would be just 4. Okay, so we can rewrite this part into here. I will have negative a plus minus root 4 multiplied with the root 30 over 4. Now the root 4 is a 2. So the next step would be simplify this fraction form. So you have negative a plus minus 2. Let me put it here. Negative a plus minus 2 root 30 over 4. Here we can reduce by 4. Reduce by 2 because they all have the common factor of 2. So reduce by 2, I get a 2 here, I get a 4 here, and these 2 cancel out. So your final solution would be negative 4 plus minus root 30 over 2. Or you can rewrite this solution set into the negative 2. Okay, so you can divide by here, you will get a negative 2 plus minus root 30 over 2. So either solution that is right, but I will go with this one. Okay. The last one in this section would be how can I determine or how to find the easiest strategy to solve for the quadratic equation. So when you have an equation come with a trinomial, we always looking for the factor form first. Do the factor form, find the factor form, and from there you solve for x. That is the easier way to solve it. And when you use finding the factor form, recognize your equation. This equation, the leading coefficient number, we have 6. I couldn't find my pen. Okay. So leading coefficient, this is 6. It's not 1. So you have to swing the 6 to the back. So you'll get an x squared minus 11x plus 18 equals 0. And then from here, you can find the factor form easily. You have x minus 9 times x minus 2. And then you divide by 6 because you just swing the 6 to the back. And then you reduce. Reduce by 3, you get a 3 here. Divide by 3, you get a 2 here. Reduce by 2, you get a 1 here. You get a 3 here. And then you swing this bottom number back to the front of the x term. So the factor form of the first equation, you'll have a 2x minus 3 multiplied with 3x minus 1 equals 0. Can you see that here? And then from here, you use the factor form to solve for x. When your equation has the pattern like this, you only have 2 terms, right? So solving the x, the easier way is take out the common factor. And the common factor among these two would be 3x. So bring the 3x outside, your first term turn to the 3x plus 2, so that equals 0. And then from here, your factor form is this 2, which is 3x equals 0, or 3x plus 2 equals 0. So since the 3x equals 0, that means x equals 0. And this one has x equal negative 3 over 2. When you have the equation like this format, you have 4x squared minus 9 equals 0. So the easier way is bring the 9 to the right hand side, then you'll get a 4x squared equal 9. Divide by 4 on both sides, you'll get an x squared equal 9 over 4. Now x equal plus minus root 9 over 4, which is x equal plus minus 3 over 2. I think this is an easier way to solve it. Or some of you can see here is a binomial term. So you just factor out this 2 into the 2x plus 3 times 2x minus 3. So from here, this is a factor form. You can solve for x. But you can use this way to solve for it. I think this is easier to process. When you have the equation is 2x squared minus 5 equals 0. So you bring the 5 to the right hand side, you get x squared equal 5 over 2. Take the square root on both sides, you'll get x equal plus or minus root 5 over 2. And you simplify the root 5 over 2 because we don't like the denominator has the square root sign. So we just duplicate the root 2 to the top and the bottom. So root 2 squared, it turns to a 2. And the numerator will turn to the square root 10, a plus minus. So the quadratic equation, there's you need to discover your equation first. Recognize what type of equation you have, and you use a different strategy to solve for it. Now you can move on to Webassign Assignment. If you have any question from your assignment, feel free to email me. And additionally, do not click on Ask My Professor on Webassign because I don't go check the message on Webassign. The faster way, the easier way to reach me would be email me. Email me to sus@wcjc.edu. That would be the fast way to reach me. Okay? Or you can take the picture of your question or label the number of the question from Webassign and let me know. I will give it back as soon as I can.